Hello and good afternoon. Welcome. This is Beyond the Arc News. It is the dawn of a new chapter and the beginning of a new era here. I am joined with two excellent young men, and we are going to have a lot of fun here talking about sports. And so here we go, and away we go. With Frank Chungi on my left and Christian Robinson on my right, I'm John Williams. Let's get things started. Our first topic today is, of course, the homecoming football game. The Valparaiso University men's football team lost to Marist, unfortunately, last week Saturday, 36-30. And so I'm going to open it up. I'm going to start with Frank, a former football player in his own right, excellent football player as well. Let me ask you something, because now they're 0-3. What would you say is the biggest issue with this football team so far this season?
The biggest issue with this football team this season is they're too one-dimensional in their offense. Their offense consists of just big plays from the air. We need to establish a run game in order to be able to better control the game and control the ball. So, like what happened last week when we were up and had the lead, instead of just throwing the ball all the time and going nowhere with it, we can run and start running the clock out. That's the biggest problem with the team right now.
And let me ask you this also, because good friend of yours, Solomon Davis, he had 10 receptions on 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. The game before it, he had 1 touchdown. He's having what might be one of his best seasons, if not his best season so far. So there is things that this team can potentially build off of. So how can they continue to get these performances out of him, but just fine-tuning the smaller things? And how can they also possibly unlock other players having games like this?
Solo is the perfect player right now for this team because he has that big playability. We saw last week all of our big plays came from Solo and the long ball. The problem is they failed to use that threat of going deep with him to facilitate other facets of the game. I know we have a bunch of talented receivers. Running Solo deep and then the other receivers below him as in some type of crossing routes and to free up those other receivers would help, because everyone knows Solo is a big play receiver. He was a big play receiver last year, and they're letting him do his thing this year. So using the threat of Solo to facilitate other players, especially the run game, is the perfect thing to do for this team.
And hopefully they can continue to get these excellent performances out of him. 175 yards, 2 touchdowns.
I taught him everything he knows.
You taught him everything he knows. I'm not even mad at it. Christian, let me ask you this. As a fan and as somebody that was watching the game, you know, they have games all year long, but there's just something different about homecoming game. Can you talk about that, especially since this was your first one?
Yeah, so I feel like the pressure of homecoming game is definitely something that's really exciting for the fans, exciting for people to see. Unfortunately, you know, it being my first homecoming game, they did lose, but I feel like a lot of that is due to, I want to say, silly mistakes or things that could be like easily fixed. Considering that we were up, I want to say 24-17, and then we were up 30-24, and you know, letting them score is, so we did block that field goal attempt, so that was good for us. But then right back after that, we made another silly mistake, let them get right in the end zone, and it was just, you know, unfortunate to see. But yeah, you know, so you win some, you lose some. It is what it is. But you know, hopefully the game today they're gonna put on for that. But
that's very true. And you were in the tailgating section as well, and so talk to us about that vibe, because it was a lot going on there. There was the food bazaar there. Yeah. There was all the fraternities and sororities out there as well. Just talk about the atmosphere there.
It was a very nice atmosphere. The vibes were nice. Everyone was enjoying themselves. Everyone was nice watching the game, eating food, enjoying themselves. But, you know, unfortunately we did lose, but we didn't try to let that, you know, stop our fun. We were still playing music, still eating, playing games, doing what we do. So it was nice for, you know, everyone to come together, still have that nice bond over the tailgate, even though we, you know, did lose. But yeah, yes.
And I'll tell you this, we might have lost, but that food.
The food is nice. Yeah, the food is nice.
As someone would say, chef's kiss.
Yeah.
So, Frank, let me ask you this. As a former football player, when you're facing an 0-3 start to a season, nobody wants an 0-3 start to the season. How do you How do you make things better and get that first win, but also not beat up on yourself too much?
I feel like this 0-3 start is a blessing in disguise because the outside of the first loss, which was a bad loss for multiple reasons, the second loss was really because of turnovers. And that is something you can fix in practice. Just take care. I know Coach Fox, he loves to take care of the ball, so that can be fixed during practice. And then last week was just we failed to extend the clock with the offense. So after homecoming, they had a bye week, which is the perfect time to have to wrinkle out all the mistakes that came from the last two losses, especially because, you know, one, two different plays and calls go our way, then we're 2-1 and not 0-3. So I feel like I know we started off 0-3, but it's not all doom and gloom just yet. There have been some really good performances, really close games. So we'll just have to see if they fixed everything during the bye week.
And one last thing I'll say to both of you, and I want your thoughts on this, is, you know, in the previous game, they were outscored 19-6 in the fourth quarter in overtime. In years past, we've seen them get these leads, even a big lead, and then for whatever reason, something just happens on the defensive end where the defense isn't necessarily getting the stops in the second half of the game or overtime as compared to the first half of the game. And it's happened enough that it's not as simple as maybe it was just a one-off. When we talk about the defense, because it was some great offensive performances, the Beacons put up 30 points. But on the defensive end, especially the second half of the game, what does this team need to do to get better, and especially when you have these leads, close out these games?
The main thing is third and fourth down. Third and fourth down, the money downs. Last week, they gave up so many chances on third down. It was 3rd and 8, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and they would just give up a first down. Even on fourth down, I think we went the Mariners went 3 for 4 on fourth down. So that should tell you that in those tight situations where the game could be won and lost, the defense is not, for one play, the defense is not showing up. So a focus on third and fourth down stops should be an emphasis.
For me, I feel like one of the biggest things it could be is communication. I feel like if we're seeing these more often to the point where it's not like a one-off and we're seeing this is like a recurring event, I feel as if we have to look back on these mistakes and see like what exactly is going wrong for us to not keep doing these things again. Like we said yesterday, a loss is only an L if you don't learn from it. Otherwise, it becomes a lesson. So if they're not learning from these experiences and they're not learning from what they've been doing wrong before, it's just going to keep happening over and over again. There's going to be simple breakdowns. They're going to just keep doing what they do. But no, we need to communicate. I feel like definitely communication is one of the biggest things that's going to be able to tighten up our defense here.
It's a lot of pieces here. It's a lot of things that they can do, and hopefully they're able to get that first win today. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back. Welcome back. As we shift now to national sports, it was a blockbuster day earlier in the week. The trade that has the whole National Basketball Association talking. Damian Lillard, who's been with Portland his entire career and long has talked about wanting to be there the rest of his career, well, he's not going to be there anymore. He's trading in the Trailblazers for a couple of deers because Dame is heading to the Milwaukee Bucks. The full trade details are as followed. Milwaukee gets Damian Lillard. Portland does receive Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Tumani Camara, Milwaukee's 2029 unprotected first-round pick, and an unprotected Milwaukee swap rights in 2028 and 2030. Funny enough, the Suns are also a part of this deal. Suns have been everywhere this offseason. They receive Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson. And then the Blazers are expected to trade Drew Holiday. And so, Christian, I'm going to start it up with you because there were first thing is first, what are your thoughts on this just blockbuster trade that just changes the whole landscape of the NBA?
Right. I feel as if this trade could either go one of two ways. I either feel as if Dame and Giannis are going to be great together. They're going to have really good chemistry. They're going to be able to get plays off the ball. They're going to be really good. Or since I feel as if they're both very prominent ball handlers, I feel as if this could be an issue where I don't want to say necessarily egos collide, but you know, Dame time is Dame time. He gets the ball, he's putting up numbers, you know what I'm saying? Giannis, he's doing what he has to do. I feel as if this could be an issue where almost as if like, I feel as if like two LeBrons couldn't be playing on the same team, where it's just like they're just so significant and they're so good in their own ordeals. I don't know as if like if they're going to be able to make a good combination or if they're going to clash against one another. So I feel as if this is either going to go really great or this is going to be very, very bad.
It's definitely a very interesting dynamic. Frank, going to bring you into this as well because, you know, we knew that Damian Lillard was going to get shipped out. And we knew that he wanted to go to Miami, but for whatever reason, that just didn't end up happening. You know, ESPN mentioned earlier in this week, the last couple of off seasons from Kevin Durant to Bradley Beal to Damian Lillard, the Miami Heat have looked to get this next big piece. But for whatever reason, in the Jimmy Butler era, they just haven't been able to do this. What exactly is going on with the Miami Heat, and why is it that with Dame and others, they just haven't been able to get these blockbuster pieces?
I feel like Miami is they're just too scared to break up their team because in the NBA, there are two types of teams that make it to the finals. There are the teams that are cared about their superstars, and then there are the teams that are the really good teams with one superstar. And Miami is in that second category. It's Butler and everybody else. No one on that team comes even close to Butler. So in order for him to carry that team to the finals, it has to be a very good team. And when you have a very good team, you start kind of getting scared of just one or two players gone changes everything. So I feel like Miami, they're too stuck in that good team mentality. They need to ship pieces, whether it's Hero or someone else, or even Bam. They need to ship pieces to get Butler another superstar, and they have just failed season after season after season.
It pains me to see it. We could have had so many different players, and I thought Dame was going to be the exception, but, you know, can't have everything in Miami. But what I will ask both of you also is that, because there were also numerous reports about how a third team could be involved in this sweepstakes for Damian Lillard, and here come the Suns. And so my question for both of you is, because yes, Milwaukee, this is a very big deal that they get Dame. But when it's all said and done, because Kevin Durant even has already proclaimed this, could this be a trade that Phoenix was actually the biggest winner of all?
Phoenix, they gained a lot of depth in this trade, and that's one thing that they needed. That team has been carried by its superstars for far too long, and when they're not on the court or when they're not healthy or at 100%, and it shows. So Phoenix adding depth, it could go a long way. We'll see how it all gels together, but don't sleep on Phoenix.
Yeah, I feel like I would have to agree with Frank on this one. I feel like this could be a good opportunity for Phoenix, but you know, we'll just see how it goes.
I agree. And the big gamble that Phoenix took was you basically swapped DeAndre Ayton out for Yusuf Nurkic. And so I want to spend a little bit of time on that as well, because it is a risk. This is a player that it's been multiple seasons. He's had fantastic seasons, but then he gets injured. And so if that injury happens, especially considering they don't have any true backup center in a Western Conference where you have the Karl Anthony Towns and the Anthony Davises and the Nikola Jokic's of the world, do you think that was the right gamble for them to take, even if they're going to ship him out?
I think it was, because at the end of the day, the NBA is all about getting buckets, and DeAndre Ayton just can't do it. Height doesn't matter as much, because if you look at the Warriors, they've never been a team that's too tall or too big, but they've been a team that can get buckets from anywhere and everyone. So shipping DeAndre Ayton, we saw what he could do when the Suns went to the finals a couple of years ago against Milwaukee, and it just wasn't enough. So it comes to the point of how much more time do you give him, or do you just move on with them? They have a good core of Durant and Booker. That is a championship core. So I don't think they should have given Ayton the time, and shipping him was the right move.
So, you know, I look at this trade and I ask myself, are we on a collision course for a rematch of the 2021 NBA Finals? What do you think?
Say that again?
Or do you, because you look at this trade, you look at what the Suns team looks like, you look at the Milwaukee Bucks that add Damian Lillard, who averaged 32 and 7 last season, and he didn't even play all the games, to this Milwaukee team that already had the best record last season. Are we on a collision course for the Suns and the Bucks to meet back up in the NBA Finals?
I feel like this could be a chance for that. I don't want to say as if the other players on the Bucks aren't really putting up enough for Giannis to be the great player that he is, or give him his, I guess, like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen moment where he's like out there doing everything by himself. But I do feel as if Dame being added, like I said before, like it could either go kind of bad or it could be really good. I feel as if like there is a chance that this could be a 2021 type situation.
I think that there is no excuse now for Milwaukee. There is no excuse. That Eastern Conference has been a toss-up these past couple of years. There's no one team to beat. Now Milwaukee is that team. Milwaukee is the team to beat. And if they fail to come out the Eastern Conference, it's a failure. No matter, outside of injuries, no matter how you look at it, it's a failure. I'm not so sure Phoenix is guaranteed to come out the West yet. They still have to go through. Golden State is still a team to think about. The Nuggets are still the team to beat in the West. So I'm not sure. I fail to even think that Phoenix is coming out. So it will be a real test for them this year. They also have no excuses though.
I agree with everything that's been said. It's going to be a very interesting season. And let's also be honest. I think the Miami Heat are going to win the championship. Because why not? We will be back. We're going to take another commercial break, and we'll have more on Beyond the Arc. Welcome back. Now, continue with our national sports. Let's look at those Chicago Bears. Well, it hasn't necessarily been the best season for the Chicago Bears. They are 0-3, and they face a matchup with a team that got beaten by 50 points last week in a battle for who will be 1-3 and who will unfortunately fall to 0-4. The game will be at 12 o'clock Central Time on CBS. Let me ask you boys some questions when it comes to this Chicago Bears season. They lost, Frank, I'm going to start with you. They lost to Green Bay, they lost to Tampa Bay, and then they also lost to Kansas City. So you could make an argument those are three pretty good teams that they lost to. So the 0-3 record might be a little bit deceiving. But an issue, they are getting outscored on average 20 points or more. This Bear defense for the last couple of seasons has gotten a lot of criticism. What is going on with their defense?
The defense it has just been, ever since Khalil Mack has left, it has just been rebuilding. Honestly, ever since Vic Fangio left as the defensive coordinator, our defense has not looked the same. It has lost its weapons, its teeth, and now it's not even a hall of its former self. People can just run and pass right through. We have no defensive line to get pressure on the quarterback. That first week against Green Bay, Jordan Love had all the time in the world, and he picked us apart. We get no pressure on the quarterback, and our DBs are not good enough to be guarding for more than 10 seconds. So when you get no pressure on the quarterback, and your secondary is not up to par, it's going to be a long day. In the offseason, they invested in the linebacking core, but that was not a real hole in the defense. Our holes are our secondary and the defensive line.
So, Christian, let me ask you this, because kind of the same question I asked Frank earlier when it came to our football team. You know, you're facing 0-3, and especially in the NFL, it's very hard to make the playoffs, especially in the NFC, when you have an 0-3 start. But tomorrow's game could change this season, and even if they don't make the playoffs, it could be something to build off of it. So if you're the coach of the Chicago Bears and you're heading into this game tomorrow, what are you telling your team to keep them focused and to get this first win?
I would have to really harp on defense. I feel as if, like, for basketball, it's very easy to just put up points and put up numbers, but I feel as if with football, it's not really the same. So defense is a very important key. If you can stop people from scoring, if you can stop people, then you're going to be able to get an opportunity to be able to score again. You know, they say defense is the, you know what I'm saying, best offense. So I feel like if they really harp on their defense and really can find some kind of rhythm or some kind of communication or just something to boost their team's morale, to get them to work more together in a more collegiate form, that they'd be able to really put through.
I agree. I agree. They say defense wins championships. Frank, something interesting that I read about was that Chase Claypool was frustrated about his usage. And so if you were the coach, two things. One, what's your thoughts on that? And then secondly, if you're the coach and you hear about that, how do you address that?
I feel like he has a right to be concerned because last year the story was Justin Fields has no weapons. They go out and get Chase Claypool during the season, and they bring him in. He suffered a little bit with injury, so he didn't have too much time to really gel, but this was supposed to be the year. They go out and get DJ Moore. DJ Moore is the perfect #1 receiver. Claypool and Moore are the perfect 1 and 2. Now they have to be able to spread the ball out on offense and get the ball to their playmakers. DJ Moore, perfect playmaker. Chase Claypool, another really good playmaker. The problem is the coach is not letting Justin Fields throw the ball. When Justin Fields throws the ball deep, he connects. He has an arm and the accuracy to throw the long ball, but we failed to build off of that and get our receivers open. Most of our game focuses on running the ball or short QB runs, which worked last year because Fields rushed for over 1,000 yards. But now teams know that they know Fields can run, so they're gonna take that away from him. The coach has to let Justin Fields let the ball fly.
And that actually goes to my last question that I have for both of you, because on the season, Justin Fields does have 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Is that more so a Justin Fields problem, or is that more so the rest of the team not necessarily doing what they're doing? Because he got into a little bit of hot water the other week because in a way he kind of insinuated that is the coach's fault. So what exactly is going on with Justin Fields, and what needs to be corrected when it comes to that?
I feel like coaching does play a big role in it, but I feel like his turnovers I don't harp too bad on them because most of them come from late game when we're already down and we're trying to come back. So obviously we're going to be throwing the ball more often, and teams are going to know that. But some of the turnovers he does throw is just it's mistakes you see during his rookie year. So he's been in the league for 3 years now. He shouldn't be making those types of mistakes. But you can't harp too much on him because they come late game when we're already down by multiple scores. We have to score multiple touchdowns. But so far right now, he's showing that he's regressing from what he was last year. And I feel like that plays a lot into the coaching and how they're asking him to play. So it goes both ways. They're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, I don't want to say that the coaching is necessarily the issue, but you do have to understand with a good coach, you're going to have a good player. You don't necessarily want to blame him for all of the mistakes, because like Frank said, they're coming off late mistakes anyway, so it's kind of hard to put them in a position to try to, I guess, try to recover from those mistakes or really try to put up more than what the team already has. So I feel as if, coaching is very important, but I feel as if with a good coach, then he'll be fine. He'll be okay.
We'll see what they're able to do tomorrow. And so for the last part of our show, we got to make a couple of picks because it is week 4 tomorrow. First thing is first, the Chicago Bears, Denver Broncos game. Who do you got?
The Bears.
Bears?
Bears, please.
I'll be that guy. I'll say Broncos.
Broncos?
I'll be that guy.
Battle for who's going to be 0-4. The Sunday night game on NBC, Kansas City Chiefs versus the New York Jets.
Chiefs.
Okay. Another big blockbuster game on CBS tomorrow, maybe the best game of the whole week, Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins.
Where's the game at?
The game is in Buffalo.
I'm I'm going to have to go with Buffalo. I'm going to have to go with Buffalo.
Yeah, I'll go Buffalo.
Buffalo.
We'll go
I'm
Buffalo.
going to go with the Dolphins. We're going to be 0-4.
Of course.
And then, of course, interesting matchup at 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Who do you have in that matchup?
The Chargers. The Chargers, they have to win this game.
Why do you say they have to win this game?
They have had a rocky start to the season, and this is a team that should be going. This is a team that should be threatening to go to the Super Bowl the past couple of years. So they need to pick it up now.
Yeah, we'll go Chargers.
Chargers?
We'll go Chargers.
An interesting matchup of two teams that people have very passionate opinions about: New England Patriots and the Dallas Cowboys. Who do you guys got for that matchup?
Can we go with draw? Can I go with the draw?
And the draw is very possible. It could happen.
Lord, I don't want to pick. Not the Cowboys. So I'll go with the Patriots.
We'll do a coin toss on that one, honestly.
Coin toss?
Coin toss. It could be either or, honestly.
All I'll say is this: if that Dallas defense showcases itself the way it did the first 2 seasons, this could be a Dallas Cowboys game. And then one last matchup I wanted to ask you guys about, because this is the Monday Night Football matchup, but it's an interesting matchup of 2 teams that you just never know what to expect on any given Sunday. The New York Giants and the Seattle Seahawks.
I feel like the Seattle Seahawks are a more consistent team. You really never know what you're going to get from Daniel Jones, so I'm going to go with the Seahawks. They're a more consistent team.
Yeah, we'll go with the Seahawks.
Seahawks?
We'll go with the Seahawks.
Okay. So that's the picks. I do want to do a shout out again to Solomon Davis, especially that one big reception he had. He had a fantastic game. It's always a good day, win or lose, seeing fantastic players and great human beings just doing an excellent job on the field and just putting in their best effort. Again, he really is having an incredible season that's only going to continue. Definitely wishing the best to them as they're doing their game today and they get their first win. Hopefully the Bears are able to get their first win tomorrow. But this has been an awesome first episode. We are grateful to have been able to join you here today. We will be back, and we look forward to the next episode. So thank you for joining us. For Frank Chungi, for Christian Robinson, I'm John Williams. This is Beyond the Arc News. Have a fantastic Saturday.